The haunting horror of the Japanese female student who was brutally tortured and murdered. The horrific, prolonged and sickening murder of Junko Furuta, a 17-year-old Japanese girl. She was the victim of murder, rape and torture, in the case known as the concrete encased high school girl murder case. Junko Furuta, born on 18th January 1971, died on 4th January 1989. She was born in Japan, and she died in Japan. If you're sensitive to these types of stories and pictures, please move on. This is a very gruesome crime. This crime is and isn't well known. The murder of Junko is one of the cruelest, most disgusting stories I have stumbled upon. This is one of the worst ones, for me. Why? We're human, yet inhumane. It is alleged that more than 100 people knew about her captivity, her torture, but did nothing about it, or even went so far as to participate in it. Junko was a high school student at Yashio Minami High School. She was born in Misato, Saitama Prefecture. She was a typical teenager, she had an after-school job and had plans for her future. A boy in her school was interested in her, but the feeling wasn't mutual. She had turned him down. This isn't the start of a love story. Hiroshi Miyano, a member of the notorious Yakuza, wanted revenge on the girl who had rejected his multiple attempts of affection. Hiroshi took Junko to a park in the early hours of the morning. They threatened her family, telling her that they knew where she lived because of information they found in one of her notebooks. She was overpowered by the four boys and taken to a house in Ayase district of Adachi, where she was gang-raped. The House of Horrors, a soon-to-be gang hangout of theirs, belonged to Minato's parents. She would be kept there for days, be tortured, raped, and eventually murdered. Her punishment was fire. She was splattered with lighter fluid and set alight, her legs burning. Allegedly, she had convulsions because of this torture, but it was seen as a pretense, so she was lit on fire again. Junko had asked to be killed, to get it over with, but she was refused. She had survived being burnt alive, to be raped and tortured. She was forced to sleep outside. She was kept in a freezer. She was beaten so badly that she would take an hour to reach a washroom. Eventually, it was so bad she couldn't eat, she would vomit. She couldn't control her bladder. She was punished for this too. Hiroshi Miyano and Joe Ogura were arrested on the 23rd of January 1989 for the rape of the 19-year-old in December. In March, one officer led Miyano into believing he knew of the murder, that Joe had confessed to the crime. Thus Miyano told the officer where he could find Junko's remains. The police were confused, as they had actually been hinting towards the murder of another woman and her 7-year-old son, that had occurred merely 9 days before Junko's death. Sadly, that case is unresolved. The drum was found, Junko was found. She had to be identified via fingerprints. Joe was arrested for another sexual assault, and re-arrested for murder on the 1st of April 1989. Yasushi Watanabe, Nobuharu Minato, and Minato's brother's arrest followed soon after. In my opinion, all these sentences are pathetic, considering what Junko had to go through. I don't have the right to bring death upon others, but surely life sentences would have been a better decision here. I can't understand how a girl's life is only worthy of a couple of years. It's just not right. Junko could have become someone, a mother, a grandmother, a best friend, but that was taken from her. I wish I could have helped her and all the others. Be careful out there, ladies and gentlemen, the world is full of killers.